Sup, you chuckle fucks? It's your boy Dark Raku here with What If Issei was the grandson of Yhwach. Now, let me mention one thing: I am no longer sick. Probably. I actually do not know. Wait, let me burp a little bit. Wait. So I am not that sick. Like I can breathe fine from my noses. I am not coughing that much. The whole day was kind of fine. So I think I'm good. But I am gonna still kind of like drink some mostly medicina, but not much. But not the point. Just to kind of take a nap and other things. So I'm going to do this for a little bit and then kind of go to sleep. But yeah. So other than that, let me begin to what if let me shut the fuck up. It should have been started raining like a while ago, but it was windy as hell, so I didn't actually kind of record at that time because I didn't know if my power was gonna go out. So yeah. So let me just record now and let me shut the fuck up and begin with this what if. So this is part 5 of this what if. Other than that, let me begin into this what if. So we begin into mostly Issei and mostly the white one being Valerie being in such an awkward position. While Valerie's assets is right now on top of mostly Issei's crotch, mostly Issei is right now embarrassed and actually shocked to actually hear what mostly the white one has said. Now Diedrich is left just dumbfounded, really dumbfounded. He's just over here just like thinking, what the fuck? This is where, well, mostly the white one being mostly Albion inside of Valerie already knew about the love emotions of mostly how Valerie felt with Issei. So of course mostly he wasn't too shocked, but he knows that, well, how should I say, he already knows that how Diedrich is gonna feel. Diedrich is probably just gonna say, what the fuck? While mostly Issei is over here embarrassed. Of course, he has something that rises up and kind of did poker, and this is where she actually became embarrassed. But this is where she then had a very lustful grin on her face. This is where she did say, oh, it seems someone's actually awake. This is where, well, she decides to put a hand down almost close to where his crotch will be at, until Issei grabbed mostly both of her arms and just kind of pulled it away from mostly where his crotch will be at. Issei said, okay, Valerie, we need to calm down here. This is where mostly Issei said, with a very calm, gentle tone. Valerie kind of smiles a little bit even more lustful at the same time. This is where Valerie says, sure, I'll calm down. This is where she starts moving her hips, and this is where Issei says, no, Valerie, stop this. Stop. This is where, well, mostly Valerie says, okay, she stops, and this is where, well, mostly Issei in his head, mostly there's two sides of his body, mostly inside his body. That one side, it actually didn't want Valerie to stop, and the other side, mostly, thank goodness she stopped. But yeah, this is where, well, mostly Issei says, Valerie, why would the the princess of hell even be interested in the prince of light? Issei said with a very questionable look. This is where, well, mostly Valerie says, that's the reason, mostly the titlement. You're the prince of light, mostly the prince of mostly the Quincy race. I'm the princess of hell, making me royalty, right? And you're royalty also. This is where Issei said, well, I'm not that. This is where before Issei even can continue on, mostly Valerie cuts him off and says, look here, I'm just quite interested in you, a lot. The reason why I'm so interested in you is because you're strong, powerful, and very interesting. You're also quite, how should I say, perverted. This race is okay. I wasn't okay. That was just this where Valerie stops him from actually keeping everything human. Not the point. I know you're not perverted anymore because you probably found out about everything about how mostly. What the hell was that noise? Wait. Never mind. This is where, well, mostly, she then says, I know that you stopped becoming perverted because, well, people usually were easier to trick you and other things, so that's why you're going to act more strict and other things, but I really did like the perverted side of yours, always trying to protect your friends and other things, but I did kill you, and yeah, and then you shown your power, and you were much more powerful and other things, but not the point. I'm quite interested in you, not just because of your power, but how friendly you are half the time. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, I'm only friendly to, well, my own race, and my parents, and maybe other people. You didn't kill me when we met again. That was because I was just needed to take Loki back, Issei said. This is where Valerie says, so many excuses. This is where, well, she keeps saying. This is where, well, Issei says, they're not excuses. I'm literally Okay, kill me now. This is where Valerie literally put her face right in front of Issei. This is where Issei's face becomes even more red, and this is where, well, mostly Issei wanted to summon his sword, but he didn't, because for some reason he lost kind of control and actually using Ryatsu. Of course, this is where, well, mostly Valerie says, "You're not going to do it, are you?" This is where, well, mostly Valerie's eyes, well, one of her eyes are being covered up by her silvery white hair, and right now one of her golden eyes is looking into Issei's kind of, well, we'll see one of his, well, own brownish eyes. Well, not brownish eyes, one of his crystallized blue eyes, because his glasses was taken off of him forcibly by Valerie. This is where, well, we'll see, he says right now, one of his crystallized blue eyes is being covered by his, like, whitish, silverish, grayish, well, not grayish, mostly whitish hair. Because in the bottom of, like, where his head is kind of, forehead is kind of like silverish white, but on the top of his head is kind of brownish, a little bit, but not the point. This is where, well, mostly he's covering up one of his eyes while one of them is kind of looking at Valerie's. This is where, well, mostly Issei's tried to look his, well, one crystallized blue eye somewhere else, but he can't, so of course he just stares at Valerie, and of course his face is red. This is where, well, mostly Issei sighs and just remembers what mostly Yhwach did tell him. Basically, Yhwach has already been fine with mostly the other race. He just isn't fine with mostly the devils that much. He's okay with the fallen angels and angels, kinda, because they're similar to that of mostly the Quincy's. Kind of, but not much. The devils are kind of similar to that of like a hollow, in which Yhwach doesn't like hollows at all. Mostly no Quincy's like them at all. Even if Issei's half hollow, which annoys him a little bit, but not much. Of course, the work, well, mostly Issei is just looking at Valerie. Now, this work, well, Issei is just, he knows that Valerie is kind of called the Princess of Hell because she is a descendant of Lucifer, but he does know that she is half human, half devil. But this work, well, mostly Issei just keeps glancing at her, and of course, he just can't resist her. She's really cute, she's really hot, she's interesting, she's strong, she's powerful. She's mostly everything that Issei ever wanted, and usually anything that he wanted on a girl. Mostly strong, beautiful, and of course just bravery and other things. Of course, also quite very sexy, but not the point. This is where, well, mostly Issei's mind almost went into a dirty thought until he managed to kind of, we go into inner Issei, managing to, well, inner Issei was basically kicking that dirty thought away. Back, you demon, back! But yeah, not the point. But we go into mostly Issei right now, just glancing at Valerie. Valerie say, "So, what's your answer?" This is where, well, Valerie kind of just asked Issei. Issei was still quiet, and this is where, well, Valerie sighs and says, "Fine. Okay. Fine. You don't need to talk to me. I know that you don't really like me. And I know mostly that red hair bitch was mostly the one that made you not really like girls that many time. I know you don't like guys neither. You're still liking girls, but you're very iffy with girls. So I know you're not gonna like me because I am part of a mostly terrorized group. So before she even gets to kind of like get up fully, Issei grabs her hand in an instant and just pull her back down. And before Valerie can even react, mostly Issei right now put his lips upon mostly Valerie's. This is where, well, mostly Valerie was shocked, but she was right now getting dominated in the kiss. This is where, well, her kind of dragon instincts from mostly Albion, instincts most of the time, and she, since she's a very prideful devil, she really did not want it to be dominated by Issei. So of course she basically tries to dominate him. So basically it was a battle of domination, but yeah. Of course, this is where, well, we go into mostly a couple of like minutes passing by, and this is where, well, they had to let go of mostly, well, each other, so of course they can actually breathe. And this is where, well, both of them are just right now very, very, very embarrassed. Just the fact that what they did. Issei is right now blushing like a reddish tint of bluish color, also like almost like bluish kind of tint, while Valerie's kind of blushing red. This is where, well, mostly Issei and Valerie looks away. Well, mostly Valerie says, "I wasn't expecting you to do something like that." This is where, well, mostly Valerie was kind of just looking at, well, mostly she was kind of looking at somewhere else, while Issei says, "How can I resist you? You're so damn cute half the time. Even if you're the princess of hell, I wouldn't say that we Quincy's are pretty much good people. So I can't really judge someone who's actually a different species. from just what rumors has said about them. His or Valerie kind of just grins and says, "So, are you saying that the Quinces aren't as good as they can seem?" This is where Issei looks at her saying, "What, do you think angels are good people?" Valerie says, "I guess you can be right about that." Well, what an interesting person you are. You actually accepted my own feelings. This is where, well, Issei says, "Huh, I guess I did. It's, never mind." Valerie says, Issei, what? This is where, well, Issei says, "Nothing." This is where, well, Valerie kind of giggles at mostly Issei. This is where Issei says, "Other than that," this is where Issei grabs the phone and right now look at mostly the time. Issei says, "Shit, I have to go to first hour." Issei kind of tries to, well, he gets up. Of course, since Valerie's not on top of him no more, mostly he gets up and gives mostly Valerie his hand and says, "You want to get up or are you just going to sit there?" That's where Valerie takes his hand and right now gets up, and that's where, well, mostly he says, "God damn, you're heavy." That's where Valerie says, "You." That's where he says, "I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna be that rude that much. Maybe I am, but still, what does this make us entirely?" This is where, well, Valerie says, "Well, it make us." I actually do not know. He says, "Exactly. I do like teasing you. You're quite cute. You're quite hot." And this is where, well, Valerie says, "Then you can just become my boyfriend then." This is where, well, mostly Valerie kind of just said. He says, "Are you okay becoming my girlfriend?" This is where Valerie right now blushes and says, "Ace, sure. I don't mind. Besides, we're two different royalty status. Well, mostly royalty status. So, I mean, wouldn't it be fine?" He says, "I guess so." This is where, well, mostly both of them just hold hands for a second, and this is where, well, mostly they feel uncomfortable, so of course they stop holding hands. This is where, well, mostly they just blush a little bit. This is where, well, mostly he says, "I either go back towards mostly Sona's, like, mostly not classroom, her kind of, like, yeah, classroom, or I go to my own classroom that I had to go to." This is where, well, mostly Valerie says, "Nah, I'll be fine. I'll just go back to it. Besides, what happens if we get the same classroom together? That will be interesting." Well, I know, you are 18, right? This is where, well, mostly Valerie nodded. Valerie says, "Yeah, I'm 18. So you are actually probably going to be a third year." "Yeah, that is true." "How old are you again, Issei?" Right now, Valerie asks Issei. Issei says, well, also 18. "You see here, I trained for 1 month in a different dimension, making that 1 year in that dimension and 1 month here. So entirely, I'm actually 1 year." Valerie says, "Huh, so you're basically the same age as me. So wouldn't that make you a third year also?" "Yeah, I'm gonna have to right now talk to Sona about that. Basically, I'm the same age as you and Sona. What a great fucking thing, don't you think?" "Well, yeah, it is. Besides, what's it called? Would it be okay to kind of visit your family?" Issei looks at mostly Valerie and says, "Well, this is where, well, Issei thinks of his mother for a second. Like, for some reason, that literally pops up in his head, his mother. And this is where, well, Issei, for some reason, does not want to bring Valerie towards his house because he doesn't know how his mother would feel about the half-devil. Well, the half-royalty devil right now in front of him. Now, of course, he doesn't know he doesn't know about Valerie's other side and her human side, if she's royalty or not, in which he doesn't really want to pay attention, but decides to ask anyway. This is where, well, he says, "Valerie, in your human kind of side, are you royalty from it or not?" Valerie thinks about it and says, "Not entirely. I don't think so. My mother wasn't royalty. She was beautiful, but she wasn't royalty. My father was. He was actually, well, mostly a part of the Lucifer clan family. Mostly, yeah, the Lucifer clan family. Other than that, we aren't, we aren't mostly a part of, well, I should say, really a part of what's it called? Well, I don't really know about the human side. I mean, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Can't tell." He just says, "I see." This is where, well, Valerie says, "What about your other half?" This is where, well, she actually wanted to tease him about his other half because, well, mostly Issei asked her about her half of human side and wanted to ask about him and his hollow side. because she did remember kind of hearing about that. Mostly he says he was a half human Quincy, who basically Quincy's are still humans, but not the point. Mostly created from the Soul King, but yeah, different types. And this is where mostly also a hollow. And she doesn't understand what a hollow is, but she actually wants to actually understand more what a hollow is. Issa says, huh? I'm a pure-blooded. Yeah, right. Don't bullshit me. Issei said, fine. My hollow side. I don't really know if I'm actually, how should I say, royalty a part of that. I never did talk to my father about that. And mostly if I talked about him about that, he will probably just lie to me about something else. He's really iffy about it, but mostly I learned about my hollow side from my grandfather. But not the point. I don't really want to use that hollow power. Just like I don't really want to use the Lucifer power. You're similar to me. I guess I picked someone actually interesting, just similar to me. Isn't that right? Valerie said. He says, you don't want to use your royalty side? I do use it, but I don't really like using it too much. Issei said, I see. So that's why you're weaker than in that form. Screw you, Valerie said. This is where almost Issei giggles and says, I'm just kidding. You're strong and beautiful in that form. I really do not mind seeing you again in that form. This is where Valerie's face becomes red and says, shut up. Shut up already. That's where Issei says, oh come on, I can't shut up. It's really fucking, shut up before I slap the shit out of you. Issei says, fine. This is where, mostly Valerie grins and says, fine. Well, I should probably be getting towards Sona's classroom. Yeah, I should probably get also there. I don't really want to go first hour because I'm no longer 17, and right now being around most of the other 17-year-olds will be kind of awkward as hell. So you do admit it. Fine. Let's just go then. This is where, we'll see. She decides to grab onto Issei's kind of arm and right now just walk beside both of each other to just get to the classroom, or mostly the office, but not the point. Now, Valerie's height, as you mentioned, she's actually almost the closest height of mostly Issei's because she's actually 5'11", because she's actually quite tall. Mostly Issei is actually 6'1", but mostly, yeah, but not the point. So of course, mostly, I should mention that mostly Valerie is kind of like not 5'11", she is like 5'10", while Issei is actually like 6'1", but yeah, he's almost the same height as Aza, but yeah, Aza is 6'2", but not the point. That's where, mostly Valerie is holding on to Issei's arm while they kind of like get towards mostly Sona's office. Now I should mention one thing. One person was actually watching these mostly two lovebirds kind of mostly fall for each other. This is where, he was interested from the fact that the two dragon rivals, who are actually considered to be royalty in their own ways, has actually fallen for each other. He wasn't actually expecting to see this, but mostly he did remember mostly how mostly both of them fell down and gave their first kiss in that accident battle. But yeah, this is where, most of the person had kind of goldenish bangs in front of his face and kind of blackish hair in the back, but not the point. This is where, he had mostly magenta kind of eye color, and of course he had a face looking like he was dirty. He is this none other than Azo, who was actually watching this, and he was quite interesting from the both of them. Now, he does know that mostly his daughter, his adopted daughter is in the Chaos Brigade, and he knows that mostly the other kid, who is Issei, who he saw mostly as a son or mostly as a good friend to kind of play video games when he was still in Ria's Parage, was interesting, and he considered him as a son somewhat. As a good kind of like son gamer, but not the point. Mostly like a gamer who was yeah, you get the point. But of course, they are actually two people who are considered royalties in their family. But yeah, this is where, he's quite interesting. He's actually going to be really happy when he actually gets him in both of them in the same classroom. Maybe he should talk to Sona about this, he thinks in his head. It'll be funny to see both of them in the same classroom with him. But yeah, it might piss him off. It might actually end up in his death, but he doesn't care. This is where he decides to text Sona about this, and yeah. But we go into Sona right now, kind of like putting the schedules and other things, and this is where, she's just so damn confused why the Chaos Brigade is here. The white one hasn't shown up, and there hasn't been a fight, which she's happy. Maybe Issei managed to escape her wrath. But this is where the door was knocked, and this is where, well, mostly she said, come in. Now, of course, Sabaki is actually helping her now. Now, Sabaki is also smart dropping why the Chaos Brigade is here. But this is where, when the door opened, right now, Sabaki, Sona, Esdef, who is actually mostly the bluish hair girl who's there, the black, kind of like blackish, purplish hair girl with stars in her eyes, her name is, well, Akane, who is actually also there, who actually seems shocked. And also the last one, with mostly blondish hair and greenish eyes, seems to be shocked. All kind of like 5 of them are shocked when the door was open. It's none other reveals than Issei and mostly Valerie. But Valerie is holding onto Issei's arm, and Issei doesn't seem too bothered by it. This is where, well, mostly Sona says, what just happened here? What is happening? This is where, well, mostly she kind of demands mostly both of them for mostly an answer. Issei kind of didn't really want to explain in how this worked, but this worked well. Mostly they just said that they're basically just dating each other now. Right now, just shocking the hell out of all of them. Just instantly shocking them. This worked well. Right now, Sona says, how? Wait, aren't you two rivals? Why are you two just dating now? This worked well. Mostly Father says, I don't really care and what the white one always fights about, because I don't really care that much. I actually just give up in the whole rivalry stuff. But yeah, I'm just kind of interested in Issei. Issei says, yeah, I sometimes don't really care in what mostly Diedrich has asked about most of the time. This is where, well, mostly Issei just said, Sona understood, and she just dumbfounded. She just left dumbfounded. And basically the two rivalry heavily dragons, who the new host and considered to be royalty from their own kind of race and family, just became lovers. This is where, well, Sona just left dumbfounded, shocked, and just never expected this. She says, okay, fine. So, Valerie, I'm actually here to talk to you about enrollment in school and the classes you're going to be in. This is where, well, mostly Valerie says, so I'm going to be a 3rd year, right? This is where mostly Sona nodded. What about Issei? This is where Sona says, he will be a 2nd year. This is where, well, mostly you won't see. This is where Issei says, what? Hold up. Mostly Issei says, wait, Sona, that's why I'm actually here to talk to you about something. I'm actually 18 years old right now. This is where Sona says, but you were 17 1 month ago. That was before I went into my home dimension. The dimension I was in for 1 month, and mostly the Quincy dimension, was basically different time, well, mostly different time speed there. So mostly I was actually 1 year older in that time. So basically I became 1 year older when I came back. But yeah, I'm actually 18 now. Sona says, wait, are you serious? That's interesting. But interesting also. So now you're 18. Yes. And you're actually going to ask me if I should just change you up to being a 3rd year. I mean, you can give me a test to try to pass it. If I see that I suck at being a 3rd year, then I can go back to being a 2nd year and I won't ask you about this stuff again. This is where, well, Sona says, yeah, you want to give you a test about that, but I'm actually just shocked to believe that you're 18. You're the same age as me. Which, you're gonna ask me if I matured. Yes, I matured. Did you not see me just talk to Rias like if she was nothing but an annoying little brat to me? Which she is, not gonna lie. This is where Sona nodded. She did remember how Issei was really mature, really stoic, and really not caring too much. And when he fought against Loki, instead of acting arrogant, he was very calm and very collected in the battle. This worked well, thanks to the fact that his bodyguards also did protect it, but not the point. This worked well, mostly Sona nodded and said, I see. Well, okay, fine. I'll give you a test of mostly all them, mostly things you will learn, and mostly the 2nd year, and if you pass it, then you will become a 3rd year. He says, it's good to know. Just one thing, when I become a 3rd year, don't put me in the classroom, the same classrooms with mostly Reyes or Akano, because I don't want to deal with them. But I do want the same classrooms for my girlfriend here. This is where, well, mostly Valerie blushes. This is where, well, mostly Sona nodded. She just doesn't know what to do. She knows that most of the two rivaling dragons won't need to fight no more, but she's actually kind of a little blushing because she's actually liking Issei's new look. He's completely different. He has dark shade glasses, and of course, well, you really don't know what's underneath his glasses because the only person that actually has seen them is none other than Valerie, because of his crystallized blue eyes. But yeah, so no one else has seen his mostly eye color, not at all, except for a couple people, maybe like the people that were in the battle of like the beginning of Issei's awakening, but not the point. Like Azil, Sir Zex, and even what's it called? Well, mostly Michael. But this is where, well, they are the only ones who actually seen his eyes. But other than that, yeah. This is where, well, mostly Issei waits for the test, and yeah. But we go into mostly a time skip of mostly 2 hours. The test did take 2 hours because Issei literally passed through a lot of them. He was already a genius on mostly all of them. This is where when Sona had to grade them, she was shocked to believe that Issei managed to get 100. And she was actually the one to actually mostly direct the test because she was actually keeping an eye on him so he wouldn't cheat. And he didn't cheat. He literally just paid attention to all the questions, read through them, all of them really fast, and finished them and answered them all perfectly. Right now making Sona nod and had to kind of just put him up to a 30er. So yeah. But we go into a time skip with mostly, well, the next day happening. Yes, Issei and Valerie did get to go home and even the others, but yeah. Now Valerie did actually introduce Issei to the others. Mostly the bluish hair girl was named Estef, who's actually a general in the Chaos Brigade, kind of. She's actually somewhat same battle maniac similar to that Valerie, but of course mostly Estef is usually under Valerie's kind of directions and orders and other things. She didn't really want to be in any of the other kind of factions or whatever, neither hero faction. Of course, well, mostly Valerie introduced her, which mostly both of them just say sup, but yeah, not the point. Doesn't work well. Mostly Valerie introduced Akane, who Akane is a girl with kind of like purplish, darkish, kind of purplish hair that kind of looks to have stars a little bit, but not much. Doesn't work well. She has stars of her own, and doesn't work well. She wasn't wearing a black dress entirely, but she was kind of wearing like this kind of like school outfit, kind of. Well, it wasn't a school outfit, it was just casual outfit. But this worked well. Mostly Estef was wearing a general outfit, but not the point. This worked well. Mostly, what's it called? Valerie says that this is basically Akame, who's actually another general, but she actually really is not too serious or but adolescent like Estef. Which mostly says a sup, and of course mostly Akame just say sup also. But yeah. But of course mostly the last one, who is mostly a girl with kind of blondish hair and of course like greenish eyes. Mostly Valerie introduced her to be mostly the person to kind of protect and actually show around mostly having a normal life. She's actually a demi-goddess. So she's actually a human mixed with a goddess gene. So the goddess that's mostly her mother is none other than, well, Aphrodite. Well, yeah. Wait, let me actually remember. It's where, well, mostly Aphrodite's, and of course it's where, well, mostly Valerie introduced her to be Lexia von Arceus. And this is where, well, mostly Issei just say sup. This is where, well, Lexia kind of blushes because mostly how handsome Issei is. So of course mostly half of the other girls they kind of blush, but not the point. Now of course it worked well. What's it called? Valerie says, so yeah, that's how they all look. Well, mostly that's all of them most of the time. Of course, mostly I have other people in my kind of group, but mostly these are mostly the trustworthy kind of people to kind of help me protect, well, mostly Lexia here. That's where Issei nodded. Huh, that's interesting. So why are you even protecting Lexia in the first place? So we're having to protect her away mostly from mostly the god of war, Ares. From the fact that she doesn't, well, not she, mostly he does not like this, well, mostly like, well, Lexia being born, because, well, he actually wants to be always in Aphrodite's kind of pants. He says, oh, he's that type of guy. Okay, you do not need to answer me any more stuff. He's just a jealous kind of god, isn't he? Yes, he is. He says, I see. Okay. Sure, why not? I hope her anyway, also. Does it work well? Mostly Lexia says, wait, what? This is where Valerie says, huh? Wait, what? It's my mission to protect her. Issei says, but you're my girlfriend, and I'm actually willing to protect you and your escort. This is where, well, mostly Valerie actually becomes kind of red and blushes and looks away. This is where mostly Lexi is actually blushing, but of course grinning at the same time. She says, "Thank you." Issei, Issei says, "Oh, just call me Issei Hiro," or mostly just Issei. It doesn't really matter. This is where mostly Lexi nods and says, "Thank you, Issei-san." This is where Issei says, "Don't be too formal with me. I do not like being too formal, even though I'm royalty. Yeah, I'm considered to be royalty of my Quincy race. Just don't be too formal with me." This is where mostly Lexi nodded. Of course, she was blushing and how mostly handsome Issei is entirely is. His silverish grayish hair is interesting, or mostly silverish white hair, but yeah. It's actually silverish white, not like whitish kind of like, just like whitish lightish hair like, well, Valerie is. But yeah. This is where, well, Valerie's blushing. Of course, they actually have to split up because mostly Issei is actually having to make a portal to actually get to a mansion, but yeah. Of course, well, mostly Valerie and the others have to make a portal to go to a different place because they don't want to be followed by the demons or fallen angels or angels at all. And Issei doesn't want to do the exact same thing, mostly just not get followed by those things. The reason why is because the Quincy's are still very untrusted with the mostly other race, even though they're considered to be an alliance, not entirely, because Issei does not trust the devils at all, because mostly are red hair, but yeah. But other than that, we go into a time skip of the next day happening. Of course, they met up somewhere near the forest. Mostly two portals appear. Mostly a magic circle appears. Mostly appearing. Mostly Valerie, Lexia, Estef, and even Akane. While the other side appears a bluish portal and actually appears Issei. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, "Yo." This is where, well, they almost get started. I'll say, "How do you?" Issei says, "I just made this kind of place recently, my portal dimension hopping." But yeah. This is where, well, mostly Valerie says, "Wait, does that portal make you go to my dimension?" No. That will only be able to be mostly given, well, I can go dimension hopping towards mostly my dimension back to this place, but instead, I just decide to go to a mansion that I still live in a human world. But, of course, you will not be able to find it because it's mostly has a barrier of Ryotsu, and no one here in this world can feel Ryotsu, can they? This is where Valerie just shake their head and says, "Fine, I understand. Besides, I don't want the devils, angels, or fallen angels to find the house. And for mostly my grandfather to be annoyed as hell." "I see. So you still don't trust him even though you're in alliance with him." Issei nodded and says, "Of course I don't trust him. You see here, I don't trust the devils entirely." This is where, well, mostly Valerie says, "But you do trust me because even though I'm from what's it called? Terror organization, you still trust me for some reason." Issei says, "That's just because you're really cute." This is where mostly Issei kind of puts his hand underneath her chin and kind of lifts it up. This is where Valerie's face becomes red and right now looks away. This is where mostly Issei chuckles at seeing how her face becomes flustered, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, "Other than that, pretty much, yeah, I just can trust you because you're basically a halfling." This is where, well, mostly Valerie nodded. This is where, well, she says, "Okay, well, let's just get to school then." So, of course, they did kind of get the custom, or mostly their uniform when they got to school, but yeah, and change out of mostly whatever clothing they had, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly, Sona says, "Okay, so these are your special schedules and other things, and Issa, you are third year now, so you have your ID kind of changed to mostly being that for third year and other things." This is where she also gave mostly IDs to the others, and this is where, well, mostly both Issei and Valerie has mostly the same kind of like first hour, and yeah. Now we go into mostly the classes, but yeah. When Issei, or mostly when the class teacher says, "Okay, I need all of you to be quiet in an instant," we have two new students. They didn't not appear yesterday because they were still enrolling, but not the point. But one of them is actually mostly a second year that kind of just became a third year after a while because he actually turned 18, but not the point. He actually wanted to graduate this year, but not the point of the third year. But yeah, everyone was kind of silent, kind of wondering who exactly is going to be in their classrooms and whatever. And this is where, well, mostly the teacher says, "Okay, you two can come in." This is where, well, when mostly Issei was able to go inside, and even Valerie, everyone was just shocked in their mostly, well, the girl's beauty, mostly the whitish hair girl, to be quite beautiful and quite mostly heavily gifted, and mostly her assets. And of course, the girls are actually just blushing at mostly how handsome the guy is. This is where, oh, mostly the teacher says, okay, introduce yourself, mister. This is where Issei says, yes, my name is Issei Hyodo. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, I just returned a while ago from mostly a 1 month time skip, or just not 1 month time skip, mostly a 1 month. And of course, I just recently became 18, but not the point, or not 18. I found out I was 18, mostly some problems of law and eternity. I was actually 18, not 17. Just, yeah, not the point. This is where, well, Issei says, not the fucking point. I don't care about answering any more questions, but I'm a third year because I managed to just pass the test and blah blah blah. Now, Issei says, before Issei gets to even kind of said that Valerie's his girlfriend, mostly Valerie says, and my name is Valerie, well, mostly she says, my name is Valerie, mostly she had it to kind of give a fake name instead of being Lucifer, so of course she just says, my, last name is Valerie's Lucy, well, Lucy, yeah, Lucy. This is where, well, mostly everyone kind of just nodded. Of course, where, well, mostly, Valerie says, and also, mostly my likes are mostly myself, well, not myself, training other things, mostly my friends and other people, and also my boyfriend. This is where she sat, right now, kind of pointing to Issei. Issei was just looking someone else. Of course, well, Issei nodded, just kind of just hugged Valerie, just to make sure that he gives out a point. This is where, well, mostly someone is having a jealousy look because she was actually shocked to see Issei in her classroom, but of course she's also shocked to see, well, Valerie, mostly the girl from the Chaos Brigade, but yeah, also being the White Dragon Empress. This is where, well, it's none other than Rias Gremory because, well, mostly Sona forgot entirely about mostly how Issei hates mostly Rias because she was just already tired and exhausted from mostly the whole thing yesterday, but yeah. But of course, well, mostly Rias was just seeing this interaction, and this is where, well, mostly he says, so yeah, this is my girlfriend, and if you try to annoy her or just touch her and any of that, I'm gonna break all your fingers and might put you in the damn hospital for a whole fucking year. Actually, I won't even put you in the hospital. I'll put you down on the ground 6 feet under. So either you piss off and just ignore my girlfriend, or I'll kill you now. Issei said with such a murderous tone in his voice, right now scaring half of the guys to almost straight of death. And this is where, well, mostly Valerie was just hugging Issei, trying to calm him down. This is where, well, mostly she decided to peck Issei in the cheek, and this is where Issei blushes a little bit and looks away. This is where, well, mostly Reyes right now snapped the pencil, while Akane was just seeing this, and this is where she was saddened from the fact that there was a guy to like her, but of course when he found out the truth, no, he just decided not to like her at all. So of course she's saddened to seeing mostly both Valerie and Issei just be mostly good to each other, but yeah. Of course, where, mostly Reyes is right now just angrily annoyed. Of course, Issei noticed Reyes, but of course decided to just ignore her entirely. And of course, Valerie is just right now sending bloodlust, angry, well, mostly bloodlust, angry straight towards Reyes right now, scaring her. But yeah. But of course, we go into mostly a time skip of mostly both of them sitting down. But yeah, they're sitting down together. And the teachers will say, okay, well, other than that, we will be going on to mostly our lessons. But of course, this is where, well, Issei was kind of falling asleep mostly in the classroom. But of course, this is where, well, Valerie decides to kind of go and get his mostly member, if you know what I mean, his third leg. But of course, mostly Issei manages to stop her and says, I swear to God, if you do that, I might have to get some of your acids, if you know what I mean. This is where, well, mostly Issei whispered into her ear right now, making her blush. She decided to stop and what she was going to do, and of course had to pay attention. She was kind of blushing in what mostly Issei was mentioning about. Issei sighs and decides to fall back asleep, but yeah. He didn't want his, like, third leg to arise and Valerie having to do stuff just like in those mostly games of what he played when he was actually still 17 and immature. But yeah. Or mostly those videos that he watched, mostly H anime, but yeah. He didn't want to do any of that. Not here and not now, right now, but yeah. He's still tired from anything, but yeah. But other than that, we go into mostly a time to go for mostly the lunchtime, and of course Issei is actually falling asleep entirely, but mostly on top of Valerie's kind of thighs. He actually is happy to sleep there. This is where, well, mostly Valor's okay to just let Issei sleep on her. And this is where, well, the other girls are kind of just looking at Valerie with jealousy look because they would like to actually let mostly Issei do that to them, but not the point. Now, of course, well, mostly some other people from mostly the Quincy race did get enrolled. A girl with mostly an explosive attitude was actually added to the kind of school. She's actually the similar same age as Issei. She's actually 18. She has blackish long hair, mostly blackish long hair, and of course, mostly. This work well. Mostly, she does have blackish eyes, and this work well. She would have been mostly the however you say it, mostly letter E. Of course, there's another one who's actually able to use lightning. Her name is mostly not well, not her name. Mostly, she has greenish hair, and of course, mostly greenish yellow. Greenish eyes. Now, of course, there's other two Quincy's, but they seem to be femalish, and of course, they actually enrolled to the school because yeah, they were kind of asked by their lord. But yeah, their majesty. But not the point. Those were well, they're tasked to protect and even comfort mostly Issei. They're mostly Prince of Light. Now, yeah, Yhwach has some things to kind of mostly see how Issei will react with the girls of Quincy's. Mostly the other, well, mostly the female race. Well, not female race, mostly the female Quincy's. He doesn't know how his son will, or mostly his grandson will react, but yeah. But not the point. We go into mostly Issei right now laying on Valerie and really just taking a nap fully, but yeah. Of course, well, mostly we go into mostly three girls actually kind of watching this. Now, they're actually watching how Valerie and Issei are very close to each other, but yeah. Also, there's some devils watching this. Mostly Sona is kind of a little bit jealous, but not much. She isn't really, well, she's interested in Issei because he's quite calm. What the fuck did I just say? Calm, collected, and other things. Also, I'm a little tired, so I'm actually going to keep fucking up words, but not the point. But of course, well, he is quite calm, collected, and other things. And of course, well, she is quite a little bit interested, taking an interest on Issei, but not the point. Now, of course, Rias and Akano are very jealous. But there's mostly three other girls who are jealous. Who is mostly one of them, and mostly, yeah, two of them. Who is one named Aika Kiryu, and the other one is named, mostly Moriyama, what the hell do I name her? I'll mention her last name later. And Catherine. Catherine isn't really jealous. She's just quite shocked to actually know this is Issei, who actually became much more hotter than anything, but not the point. She isn't jealous. She's just interested in the fact that how did Issei become having silverish white hair? But yeah, but not the point. This is where, well, a lot of girls are kind of jealous on Valerie, but they will not try to mess with Valerie because Valerie seems to be quite strong. And yes, Rias is not messing with Valerie because she's a White Dragon Empress and she's basically royalty because she's the descendant of Lucifer, but not the point. Lucifer Morningstar, but yeah. But other than that, I'm thinking of ending it off here for part mostly 5 of this What If. Other than that, bye, see you, and yeah, I'm gonna go sleep. But other than that, bye, see you, yeah.